I said suppose about ready to start. I said suppose strange space smiles. I said suppose strange space smiles. I said suppose strange space smiles. 5S. I said suppose strange space smiles. 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 5S. I said suppose. And man, we're about ready to get started. Are y'all in the house? Let me come back to, there we go. Y'all in the house? Come on in the house. Let me know you're here. Drop it in the chat. Good evening. Good evening. Work it out later. That's all right. Good evening. Hi, Jocelyn. Good evening. Yusuf, welcome back. Equa, hello, dear. Y'all drop it in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. I'm glad we were able to get this going. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to have you here. So what we are going to talk, we were going to wait a few more minutes to give people a chance to get in the rooms. We've got a few more people coming. It's a good night in Turkey. Wow. Thank you for joining us all the way from Turkey. So exciting. That's what I love, the power of technology. It allows us to be able to reach each other. Let me zoom this in so y'all can see me a little bit better. There we go. Hello. All right. So let's get started here. What we are going to be talking about tonight is the 5S Voice Method and my 5S Voice Academy. So what I'm going to do is explain all about the Academy, talk about where it came from. I'll also talk about how I developed the voice method, and then I'll give you a sample and give you an explanation of what the voice method is and how you can use it on your own. And if you are interested in further study, then I will explain even more about the Academy. Does that sound good? Everybody ready? Everybody say ready. Put it in the chat. Everybody say ready in the chat. Yes, I see you. I see you. I see you. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome. Hey, Veronica. Veronica, let Marcus know how long you can stay. Okay. All right. So with the 5S voice method, basically this is a scientific approach in my training. It is conglomeration of my years of training, my degree work, my research, and my professorship as a voice pedagogue, which is someone who understands the science of the voice. So I've done all of the training and I've done all of the work to really break down what voice science is and how it can apply to the everyday singer. Okay, it's not just reserved for just those who are, the top echelon of their singing. Voice science and vocal training is for all singers. If you want to grow and get more confident in what you are doing and gain more skill in your singing, being able to understand better how the voice works is going to benefit you. Okay, I don't care what level of singing you're at. All right. So what this method is, it is not a shortcut, all right? It is not a shortcut, but it is a system that will help you in preparation for your singing as well as protection of your voice and to be able to produce consistent results. So every time you get up to sing, you know how to maneuver, you know how to negotiate, and you know how to produce the sound that you want. Even when conditions aren't optimal, even when everything isn't 100%, because nothing is ever perfect, right? So just being able to have a system in place so that you know how your voice works and you understand how to get the most out of it when you need it. All right. It's not just a shot in the dark. So let's move on to, I want to hear from you all. I want you to tell me why you feel stuck as a singer. Is anybody out there that feels a little bit stuck? Is there some things in your singing that feel stuck? So I want to hear from you now. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Why do some singers feel stuck? And why do you specifically feel stuck? Go ahead. I should have had it. Confidence. Confidence. So that's your mindset around your singing, how you feel about your singing. Do you get nervous when you're in front of people? Equa said consistency. All right. So we've got confidence, consistency. Let me hit stress. You're your worst critic. So you stop instead of overcoming. Wow. I know, Veronica. I know. And so many times we get in our own ways, and just so much of what we go through, once that mental approach is in question, once it is not solid, the rest of the mechanism starts breaking down. Self-sabotaging, yes. What about in your breath, in your sound? What are some things that you feel stuck in, just how you produce your sound or how you sing overall? I'm going to go ahead and click this. Sometimes we find that we are practicing. We keep practicing harder and harder and more, but we're not making the progress that we want. So we're not practicing smarter. Main key is breath. Yes, yes. You also, sometimes we repeat exercises. Equa said, Dr. Laura, you know my breath and spacing. I know. I know, baby. But sometimes we can repeat exercises without knowing why. I'll ask clients, what kind of warm-ups do you do? How do you strengthen your voice? And they say, oh, well, I found some exercises online, but they can't really tell me what it's working on. So we find some fun things to kind of sing along to and work on our voices, but we don't know exactly what we're working on or even what our goal is. Sometimes we can get stuck trying to fix symptoms of our singing. Maybe it's our shaky breath. Maybe it's fixing the symptom of a crack in the breath, but not really figuring out what system we can put in place to work and to alleviate those systems. Okay. And then a lot of times we just aren't really self-aware to know exactly what our voice needs. And that changes from day to day. Our emotions change from day to day. Our energy changes from day to day. Our hormones change from day to day, and so does our voice. Okay. So what this is not an issue with your talent. This is not a question of whether or not you have talent. That's not what we're discussing here. It's more so a coordination issue. So this method will give you a system of coordination that you can apply regardless of the level of talent that you have. Yes, Yusuf, how to coordinate and use it. Absolutely. All right, so let's get on to 5S. Go ahead and put in the chat 5S, 5S, 5S. It is time to break down what the 5S's are. Yes, yes, I love it. So the 5S's, the first S is support. And that support is the foundation, and it leads to the stability. So I got ahead of myself. What I have found is that so many of what clients are dealing with, what singers deal with when they get stuck, boils down to these 5 elements. Okay. So support, what is going on with our support, our strength of our sound, the space we need for our sound, the smile, and then being able to submit to the sound. Yes, give me a sec. I'm getting there, Yusuf. Yes, yes, I'm absolutely getting there. So some of you talked about your confidence in your singing. A lot of times that correlates directly to submit, being able to submit to the voice that you have and affirm the voice that you have, and then work on that. All right. Consistency. A lot of times that is your support. Are you consistent in how you develop your support? All right. And how you support your sound. So, all of that, all of the things that we deal with, being able to project our sound, being heard, the breaks in our voices, all of these things that we deal with at one time or another can boil down to these 5 elements. All right. And when we are able to coordinate these elements, we're able to gain stability in our singing, control of our singing, freedom in our sound. We're able to project our sound and sustain our sound. And with that comes confidence because we have a system: wash, rinse, and repeat. All right, let's keep going. Yes, intend and direct. The first S is support. So it is talking about the alignment of not just your breath, but also your body. All right. We talk all the time as teachers that our bodies are our instruments. So how we align our body is very important. Now, I talk about in the academy, it's not about perfect alignment, but it's about being aware of where you might be too lax or too tense in your body. All right. We have natural tendencies. So being aware of how those natural habits, I should say, might affect our singing is very important. So I talk about in the academy how that alignment affects the position of our voice, the position of our lungs, our breath support, our diaphragm support, all of those things. Okay. So the alignment of our body is very important. And then coordination of our breath. You may have heard breathe from your diaphragm, all these things. But understanding what taking a deep breath means and then being able to relate it to what it feels like is foundational for consistent singing. Okay. How we control and coordinate our breath is going to directly affect how we control and coordinate our sound. All right. So that first element is support. Some of the things that we might deal with. I want to hear from the chat if you deal with any of these things, any of these signs of support issues. Are you running out of breath too soon? Do you find that you have tension before you breathe and when you're sustaining your sound? Okay, Veronica said running out of breath. Do you find that you have tightness in your neck and shoulders when you're singing? Tight neck. I see you, Jocelyn. Yes. Do you find that your tone is inconsistent? Like sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's weak, and you're not able to decipher between the two. Okay, yes, scoliosis is the cause. And yet I won't even say proper alignment, but with more awareness of how that condition affects your body and affects your breath, you can adjust to that. Okay, so it doesn't mean that if you can't stand up straight, then you can't support your sound. Okay. JJ said running out of breath as well. So, and straining throat issue. And we're coming to that, Yusuf. But yes, straining your sound, having tension in your sound, a lot of times relates directly to the support of the sound. And that is that foundation. And no matter how hard you sing, how much you try, you cannot push through poor alignment. If your alignment is poor, that doesn't mean perfect, but if it is negatively or adversely affecting your support, that is what we have to take mention of. Okay, so in the academy, I start off with a diagnostic and a vocal assessment, and I take note and I observe what your natural habits have been in your singing. All right, let's keep going. Any questions on support? Well, we'll get to questions at the end. Pause. Forget I said that. We'll get to questions once I get through everything. So that is that first S. S1 is support, aligning the body and coordinating the breath to know where the force is sent to. All right, Yusuf, let's keep going. Now, the strength. The second S is the strength of your sound. And it's not just how loud you can be. All right. The strength of your sound is actually how you control the breath and in turn control the sound. So that is how you are sustaining that airflow to sustain the air pressure for your singing. Okay. And again, I mentioned before, you probably have heard people say, raise your hand if you've heard people say, breathe from your diaphragm. Breathe from your diaphragm. Raise your hand if you've heard people say, breathe from your diaphragm. Do you even know how to breathe from your diaphragm? Do you breathe in your diaphragm? You can't breathe from your diaphragm because your lungs. You can't take air into your diaphragm. You can take air into your lungs. You can control the air and how the air leaves, how you use the air with the use of the diaphragm and the use of the muscles that surround the diaphragm. Okay. So when I explain in the academy, I'm controlling to do it. Yeah. When I explain in the academy all the muscles that go into and how they coordinate together to control that sound. I also have exercises that help you coordinate that and really isolate each support issue, each muscle group, so that you can focus more on how you want to send that sound and where you want to send that sound. Hopefully that answers your question, Yusuf. All right. And then it also helps to control the soft singing. All right. Being able to sing softly is not a matter of just being weak or having a weak sound. Being able to control your sound from the loud to the soft, the high to the low, so that it is a consistent and controlled sound is where the strength comes from, is what the strength is for. Okay. So that is how we power our sound. And I like to call this the gas pedal. All right. Let's keep going. We're making good time here. Next is space. The third S is space and understanding your anatomy. You may not know what all the ins and outs of the different parts of the voice are, but understanding what happens when it comes through and how to optimize the space you want for your sound. Okay. If you, go back. Oops, go back. There we go. If you're dealing with, I want to hear from you again. Are you dealing with any of these issues? Is your sound tight or swallowed? Do you have like a kind of a strain in your tone when you sing? Is your sound muffled, like, or too nasal? Does it get stuck in your throat? Veronica said, tight when I'm overthinking high notes. Yes. Yusuf said, yes, some of them. Voice cracks. If mostly from not practicing, but even being able to work through those cracks, right? Knowing how to work through those breaks and cracks in the voice. Muffled, stuck in the throat. Yes, I'm so glad to hear this. So understanding how the vocal anatomy works together and how to support the sound through the space so that you can negotiate and get a seamless, consistent, confident sound. Okay. And that doesn't mean that everything comes out perfectly, perfectly rounded or whatever. It can be applied to each style. So even if your style has rasp in it, or even if your style includes squalls and squawks or yodels, or all the different tools that and colors that you use in different styles of singing, it doesn't mean you can't do those things. It just means that you're even more efficient in being able to execute them, but not taking away from the optimal sound that you want. Okay. So you're just even more in control. You don't want to hold that sound back, but you do want to be mindful and be strategic in when you're using those tools and how you're going to achieve them with the space in your throat. All right. Or in your mouth, etc. All right. Let's keep going. My voice cracks at times. I see you, Equa. Yes. All right. Now that smile. Smile is the fourth S. And the smile is being able to lift your voice and project your sound. And what hopefully you'll get, I go into even more deeper explanations with these images in the academy. But hopefully you can see just from this how resonance comes out, how the sound waves come up and out through the mouth, and then how sound also bounces off the behind the nose. And we call that the mask of the face. We call that mask singing. And being able to project the sound through the mask allows the voice to be brighter. It allows you to access more of your range. It alleviates tension in your sound when you want to sing louder and project more. and it lifts the voice so it doesn't sound so heavy or feel heavy in your throat. The lighter the voice feels in the throat, the more supported and the more projected the sound is. If you feel a lot of tension in your throat, well, a lot of times that means you're holding the voice back. Okay. Yusuf, is it about giving it more space to resonate? Yes, absolutely. More space to resonate. And then the smile brings that resonance forward so that you can project that sound. Okay. We're going to do some examples in just a minute. All right. Excellent, excellent. So smiling is it, of course it helps with making helping you look better when you sing, of course. But it is also a strategic lift so that you can your acoustics can come through even more clearer, all right? And the last S is submit. Oh, Dr. Grace, yes. The last S is submit. So being able to submit to the voice that we have, being able to submit to what your voice needs from day to day, how to protect your voice, how to protect your sound, how to protect your instrument. All right. Common signs of not submitting to your voice or being able to submit would be singing through pain and fatigue. And a lot of times, and I've been there, I know the pressure that it is to feel like you have to get up there and sing full out and give the people what they want. But many times, and I talk about it in the academy, and I have example of singer after singer after singer, professional singers who have gone through surgeries and injuries because they have pushed through. I included, myself included, trying to push through and make it happen. So many times that it takes away from us even being able to produce sound. We cause even more damage to our singing if we push ourselves and if we push past hoarseness. All right. So having a system in place for how to negotiate through if you're feeling sick, how to be able to lighten the voice and how to be able to sing above inflammation and not pushing through inflammation. It doesn't mean that you can't sing at all, but you have to know how to adjust your placement so that you are not causing more damage. All right. Also, an understanding and being able to be completely silent when you don't have to use your voice. Even in our speaking voice, being able to speak in a way that supports a healthy voice and not speaking heavy to the point where we are causing even more hoarseness and fatigue. So understanding how to coordinate our sound, whether we're speaking or singing, whether we're performing or practicing, and whatever skill level we are in our singing, being able to protect that sound so we don't end up with nodules, nodes, hemorrhages, things that either require surgery or force us to be completely silent and not have a voice to be able to do what we need to do. And if you get paid to sing, not having a voice, it interferes with your bag. Okay. And whether you're a rapper, singer, a speaker, all that, if you don't have a voice, then you are putting your work in jeopardy. All right. Not having a recovery plan, not knowing how to recover when you are sick or when you are hoarse, but continuing to push through that does not protect your voice. All right. And then fear-based singing habits. Being able, we all talked about confidence. I've dealt with confidence issues. We've dealt with imposter syndrome, being booked for a gig that maybe you don't feel ready for. But being able to affirm your voice, being able to affirm your sound and speak to yourself, speak into yourself, and practice that mental preparation. The mind is the strongest muscle that we use when we sing. The mind is the strongest muscle that we use when we sing. And if we're already starting off with insecurity, that is going to translate into our singing. So what can you put into practice that is going to strengthen your mindset around your singing? All right. So that's what we have to look at when we are talking about affirmations. And I do have The mind is the remote control. Absolutely. I do have a book, Affirmations for Singing. This will be one of our, if you stay till the end, we have some giveaways. So this will be one of the giveaways for those of us who are in the room. And being able to, again, understand that this is not luck. And yes, there are some people that are naturally more gifted singers than others. But in the longevity of your singing is going to depend on your system and your skill, not your luck. All right. Amen. Dr. Grace, I would like to be present at the 12th. Oh, okay. All right, hon. Absolutely. You're absolutely welcome to come back, Dr. Grace. All right. So these are some things I want you to jot down. You can go ahead and take a screenshot if you like, but these are some practice tips for you to be able to implement the 5S method on your own. All right. And if you are interested in working with the Academy and training in the Academy, you would have a library of exercises and videos at your disposal to work with that. But I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. So the first S is, again, support. So for your support tips, the biggest thing you can do for your support is watch yourself. Watch yourself and see what your body is doing. See how you're breathing in, okay? And see how you're controlling that breath. If you're not able to watch yourself in a mirror, you can record yourself and then go back and watch that. Record yourself and go back and watch it. All right. So make sure that you are being more and more aware of what you are doing physically with your body and with your breath to be able to really solidify that that support. All right. And then this is one of my favorites. Another great support exercise is the lip trill. All right. And you can do raspberries. Some people do tongue trills. But those exercises really force you to engage the abdominal muscles to be able to keep the lip trill going. Okay. Yes, Yusuf, it's very important to be able to observe yourself, to notice the changes. Absolutely. So being able to do a lip trill either on your song. What's the song we could do? Oh, say, can you see? And if you find yourself like that, that'll let you know that there is something going on that is not coordinating with your breath. All right, either with your breath or with the tension in your space. A lot of times people can put their hands right here to help them achieve that trill even more easily. Tongue trills, again, is another thing that you can do. But these exercises really help you to focus just on how you are consistently producing that airflow. All right. So those are just two quick tips on how you can implement and work on your S1 support. S2 would be the strength of your sound. And surprisingly enough, strengthening your sound can come in singing softly, being able to keep everything. Now, if you don't have a problem singing softly, then this probably isn't for you. But a lot of the singers that I work with are full chest voice singers, full body singers, and they have a tendency to sing in a belt or a mixed belt. So soft singing really does force them to engage and control the airflow even more and be even more mindful of how they're using their air to produce their sound and being able to control it and still produce sound. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Being able to continue producing sound on the soft singing really helps you to control the strength of your sound. Okay. And that control, the strength is coming from the abdominal support. All right. Another great strength exercise would be buzzing. Zzz. And then you can do that again on whatever song you're singing. I keep using the Star Spangled Banner. Bzzz. If Yusuf, you might not know the Star Spangled Banner. I'm sorry, but I think you get the idea. Whatever song you are working on or singing or practicing, you can take it through these steps initially and then really work on strengthening, controlling the breath as you sing through the phrase. So it's not just being loud or even soft, it's being controlled in your approach. All right. The next is space. So being able to control the space using straw singing. Okay. And this, we call it an SOVT, semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. So being able to control the space inside your throat so you're not overusing the space, you're not overpowering the sound, but you can be consistent and know just how much space you need for where you are in your range. So again, you can be doing that. You take the straw, whatever song you're working on. And if you're a person that tends to be, oh, say, can you see by the dawns? And if you find yourself out of control a lot, then the straw singing is going to be difficult. And it will force you to relax that pressure and just use the amount of pressure that you need to achieve the range and the tone that you want. All right. So that's straw singing. There are resources out there where you can buy straws. I just use a regular drinking straw that has a pretty small opening. If it's too big, it can be counterproductive. And if it's too small, it will cause too much resistance. So you want to be, just be mindful of the size of the straw that you use if you're not going to invest, like I'm not, into those singer straws. And nothing against those who do. But it's still the voice. There's so many ways that we can improve our singing without having to break the bank. All right. And the other exercise for our space is vowel tracking. And that's being able to identify how much space we need for the vowel of the word that we're singing, as well as for the pitch level. So you could sing the whole line on one vowel. So you can get used to the rise and fall of the notes within that space. Or you can sing it on the vowels of the words, being, oh, say, can you see? Oh, hey, ooh, ee, ah, ee, ah. So that's what we call vowel tracking, all right? Being able to sing on the vowels of the words so you know exactly how to shape the sound you're singing on that word, so that when you go to sing it, it's not, oh, say, can you see, where you've got all these different shapes, but, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? And you already know the space that you need for that sound to be full and free and controlled and consistent. All right, moving on. The smile, fourth S, would be singing what I call on point. All right. So that would be just taking your cheeks and lifting it up. All right. So you can take your fingers, put them on your cheeks and just lift them and sing with your cheeks lifted. Because a lot of times, if you're singing with a dull face, with no smile, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? But if you take your fingers and just lift, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Without me having to overexert my cheek muscles, I just took my fingers, lifted them up, and hopefully you immediately heard a difference in the sound. So if you find your sound getting caught in your throat, practice lifting those cheeks and getting the sound even more in the mask and out of the throat. All right. Another exercise for the smile would be, I call twang on the song. So that's putting it in that nasal, really overdoing it. But you're getting used to that bright nasal resonance and na 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 na. But what this will help is if you want to mix belt and also if you want to access the higher range. Na 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 na
So if you practice it right there and you get used to that buzzing sensation there,
when you go to sing and implement it in your singing with the smile, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? All right. So being able to have that sound bright, focused, resonant, and being heard. That is how opera singers are heard over a full orchestra without having a microphone, is by using that smile and using that nasal resonance. Oh, I'm not sure what I said, Yusuf. I can't remember, baby. All right. Lastly, that last S is the submit. So being able to again submit to your sound, but also, oh, I said he might not know the Star Spangled Banner. Yes, yes, it is being recorded. So being able to submit to what your voice needs, listening to your voice, like I said, record yourself, but also make sure you're listening to your sound. Listen for the expression in your sound. If you're wanting to know how to get even more expressive in your singing, I like to have my clients speak through their text very expressively. Okay. If you can communicate spoken expression, then you can translate that into your singing. And if you're having trouble connecting, a lot of times that is going to come through in your performance as well. So if the best way to really connect and give the emotion behind your music is to connect with what you're saying, the why, the message, and that is a form of submitting to your singing. You can get even more confident in your sound if you're able to, if you can trust what you're saying, if you believe the message that you're conveying. I believe this message, so I don't need a script. I believe this method, so I don't need, I can speak through it. I can convey the message. I believe in what I'm talking about. And the same thing with the songs that you choose to perform. You need to be able to tap into that heart message, okay, and how you are going to make your audience feel. All right. So this is a 5S method. And these are the 5S practice tips. All right. So hopefully you got those down. Let's keep going. I was going to bring one person up. Veronica. Did we chat about this, Veronica?
We did not.
Well, I would like to chat with Veronica.
Okay.
I would love for you to come up. Is this Veronica from the program?
It's not. No, I've
Oh,
been on your things before, but no, it's a
okay. I have
different
a
Veronica.
Veronica in the academy. I'm so sorry. But I thought that was Veronica coming up from the academy that was talking. I was going to have her talk about her experience. But we do have Marcus here from the academy who is also helping with what we are doing. So I would love for you to be my guinea pig, Sir Marcus. And but before we get started, I'd love for you to just talk to the people about your experience in the academy, in the time that you've been and what you've gained from it. No pressure. And if you have any advice or encouragement for the people in the room.
Sure. Can everybody hear me just fine?
I can hear you.
Yeah, you
I'm
can?
on mute. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So I joined the 5S Academy, what was it, last year, I believe? Yeah, it's been about a year now.
Yep.
Um, for me, my biggest takeaways was the individual work that I do with Dr. Lori. Something that I learned with myself is, though I know some of the mechanics, having being a band kid, because I played percussion, clarinet, and trombone, my understanding of diaphragm and breathing was a little limiting when it came to my singing. With learning with Dr. Hicks, for me, it was whenever I'm breathing, feeling where I'm placing my breath. Is that the optimum space for me to sit my breath whenever I'm preparing to sing? And actually learning where my diaphragm actually sits, because if you ask me, it was at the bottom of my stomach, and now I know that that's not where it sits. But
Yes.
even on the community level, in the academy, we will meet every Monday throughout various seasons throughout the year. And just seeing how Dr. Lori will reteach something that she may have touched on with me in my individual session, but to see her teaching and teach it in a different way. So for me, I can be a very physical in terms of like how I feel my voice, and visual singer, and she can teach with imagery, and that connects with me well. But I also recognize that some of my peers in the 5S Academy, they're not imagery types of learners. So seeing that she can sit imagery to the side and say, hey, this is where you're feeling it in the voice, and pull out like fancy little pictures and say, hey, this is where, like earlier, she had the whole vocal fold thing. So it was interesting to see that aspect of singing and that aspect of the voice that brings a technicality to it that I would have never thought to ask about.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So for me, it's very insightful. Not only do you learn about yourself, but you learn about the voice. And because I imagine that we're all looking to do some type of singing and we're going to find ourselves in singing environments, you never know that you may be that person that say, hey, I know how to help someone else get the sound that they're looking for when they're singing, when they don't know how to get to it for themselves. Hey, this is what I learned from the 5S method. Give it a shot. You may not know. You may know, you may not know, but you won't know until you try.
Yep. It's going to be something in those S's. So, some S is going to be applied. So yeah, I have been talking for a long time, and I'm only going to be on for a few more minutes because I got to start another class at 8. But what I want to get to is being able to break down what goes into the academy and then how you can apply. All right. So if you are interested, this is what the academy is. It is structured training. So you get a comprehensive step-by-step 5S curriculum. So you'll get all the videos, you'll get the sequence of when you will be practicing, when you will be working through the 5S's, all in your folder. All right. You will also have access to the library of exercises and my teaching demonstrations where I'm explaining the concepts, the 5S concepts in great detail. And you can go through those at your pace, all right? It doesn't mean that you have to stick to everything one day at a time, or you have to cram through everything. Go at your pace because I want you to have a strong understanding of what is being explained, all right? And then you will get a clear, personalized practice plan. I should have had personalized because everyone's practice plan is personalized to them based on the vocal assessment and the diagnostic they receive at the beginning of the program. All right. So your onboarding process would start with a full diagnostic. I take you through your ranges. I take you through where the breaks are in your voice, what your breathing capacity is, all these things. And then I design a practice plan for you to strengthen each one of those areas that need the most attention. All right. Then we have the one-on-one sessions. So you get 12 one-on-one sessions over a 6-month period. You can use those sessions when you like. You can schedule them according to yours and my availability. So that's a separate calendar that you would have to schedule those with. As Marcus mentioned, we have live group coaching every Monday at 7 p.m. And we come together and I'm teaching even further into the concepts. I'm doing analysis of other singers and then also giving feedback, any questions that we may have. And it's also been a great place for the community to give feedback on songs or repertoire choices and things like that. You also get tailored video feedback. So if you're working on something and maybe you're not able to sign up for a lesson, you can send me a video of you singing and I will send you video feedback. So you can get that technical feedback. So as you continue to work, or maybe you have a performance coming up and you don't have enough time to come in for a session, then you can send me that and I can give you some things to work on to polish that performance. All right. So that can happen at any given moment. All right. You don't need to schedule that. The community, you will keep access even beyond the 6 months. You will keep access to the videos. You'll also still be able to come back to class. So really the only thing that changes after the 6 months is the one-on-one sessions will expire. Okay. But we are accountable to each other, and I am there to hold you accountable to the plan that you have. But life be lifing, and sometimes we have to shift gears and get back on track. So that happens. If that happens, then we'll set up a reassessment and cross that bridge. All right. But it is a safe environment. I really pride myself on encouraging singers to not be afraid to experiment, not be afraid to try new things. And that is also going to help with that level of confidence and being able to just explore and see let me see if my voice can do this. Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. So just being, and then having the tools in place to be able to stretch your skills even more. All right. And then of course, ongoing support. So the final countdown, the final the tuition for the program is $1,800, $1,800. That is for a 6-month time frame. Okay. I take a limited amount at each month. So I do have a rolling enrollment for each month, but I can only take so many individuals each time. All right. And then an application is required for me to be able to, let me stop this share. An application is required. And what we're going to do, Marcus, can you drop that link in the chat, please? Gosh, did I pull it up? Here it is. Never mind. I think I got it. All right. Because you told me to have it handy and I forgot. There we go. All right. Chat. Here is the link to be able to apply and get to that 5S Voice page. And I'm going to share it really quickly on the screen again. Here we go. Let's share that. And what we have here is just, another explanation of what the Academy is, what you get, who the Academy is for. Now, I will say this Academy is not for people who struggle with matching pitch. All right. I'm not teaching those concepts. But if you want to get stronger in that, I would take you through another program. But this program is for those who have a stronger foundation of their singing and their performing, but want to solidify their techniques. Okay. And take that performing to the next level. So I'm not teaching you to match pitch. I'm not teaching you scales and things like that. I am just teaching you the systems of sustaining your voice and solidifying your singing technique. All right. So this is where you would apply, and it takes you, let me come here. It takes you to the application right here. You fill that out. I really want to know what you're working on and what you're struggling with. All right. What I ask here is how many days can you realistically practice? Because if you find that your schedule is too packed to carve out time for this, then I really don't want you to waste your money. All right. It is going to require you to, I'm putting this in a way that you can establish a regimen for yourself, and you can establish, again, a system for after the 6 months. Every time you get a new song or every time you have a performance coming up, how to set up your practice. You know how to work on your music. You know how to prepare it, listen to yourself, all those things. Okay. And then call me if you need me. Primary genres that you sing. Why is now the right time? I really want to hear from you about your mindset. What's motivating you to want to do this right now? And then here is where I need to have a video for you to upload. I started off doing these as strategy sessions, but with the number of inquiries I received, I don't have enough time in my schedule to set up strategy sessions. So this will help me hear you first. It can be a public link, YouTube, whatever, that allows me to hear you first, and then set up a strategy session from there. And then, of course, you will be understanding the cost of the Academy and what you would be committing to, and also what you would be receiving. All right. So I know I threw a lot at you. I threw a lot at us, but I would love to hear from you now. If we have any questions, you can drop that in the chat. Let me come back. I sent you an email. All right. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you. So yes, I would love to hear from you if you have any questions. If you have any questions on the method as well, anything that I explained, any of the exercises that I gave, we can open the floor up now for that. So anyone have any questions? If not, I am going to. Yes. Okay, good, Veronica. Very thorough, informative. I'm happy to know you offer this. Thank you. All right. Oh, another thing I forgot to show you all. If you are interested in getting a vocal diagnostic, I'll put that in the chat as well. So for those of you who may not be able to move forward with the Academy just yet, that vocal diagnostic and practice plan has also been a game changer. You answered a lot of the questions. Excellent. It has also been a game changer. So that package is, I completely forgot to share this with you all. Marcus, you got to keep me on track, baby. All right. So let me drop this in the chat as well. So you can get a, come on over here, vocal diagnostic. Here's the link for that. And also my coaching packages are there as well. If you're just interested in getting some coaching sessions, they don't include that in-depth explanation or the in-depth practices and videos. But if you're performing and working on something and you just want to get a few coachings, those options are available as well. So you can click there. Or let me pull this up on the share just so everybody can see it. Come on. There we go. All right. So if you want to just get the assessment, which would be that diagnostic that you start the Academy with, you can get that separately. And again, I would take you through all of that and give you a practice plan that will include videos that you can use, that you can work through. And then if you decide that you, after that, want to join the Academy, then I'll just deduct that from the total. All right. So we have the vocal assessment available. That's about an hour and a half of a session. We also have 2 hours worth of coaching and 4 hours worth of coaching. All right. So all of that is there with the link. I'll be sending this out with the replay and the links where you can get back to these offers. If you have any questions, you can email me as well there. And all right, 7:59. Look at me ending on time. Look at me. I'm so proud of myself. All right. Thank you, Veronica. My pleasure. Thank you, Yusuf. This is the 5S theme song. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Thank you for joining. This was wonderful, and I'm glad to have you here. Spread the word. I will have another webinar explaining all of this on Thursday. So I hope to see you all or see more of you there. Spread the word, get it out there, and tell your friends. So I will see you all Thursday. If not, take care. Yes, I'm going live on TikTok. You can also join me on TikTok. I'm getting ready to go live right there now. All right, my darlings. Take care. All right, loves. Thank you for joining. Bye. Thank you, Marcus.